So the Online Safety Act and the Internet Censorship campaign are absolutely falling apart. I'm talking major victory after major victory today. We've got some huge news to cover, boys, so make sure you buckle up. And if you like this kind of content and want to stay updated, make sure you like the video and subscribe, okay? We've got, first and foremost, Trump literally threatening countries and leaders that are implementing the Online Safety Act with not only tariffs but with sanctions. Okay, Trump threatened substantial new tariffs against countries with discriminatory digital rules. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's over at Politico, but on Reuters it says exclusive. Trump administration weighs sanctions on officials implementing EU tech law, sources say. But if we scroll down to here, Donald Trump administration is also considering imposing sanctions on European Union or member state officials responsible for implementing the bloc's landmark Digital Services Act, which is the Online Safety Act. But this is where it gets crazy, boys. This is where it gets insane. Reuters this month reported that the Trump administration has instructed U.S. diplomats in Europe to launch a lobbying campaign to build opposition to the Digital Services Act in an effort to have it amended or repealed. That is what I'm talking about, boys. That's what they get for going after U.S. companies. That's what they get for absolutely trying to silence and censor the U.S. It's crazy that the UK Ofcom would literally think that they could absolutely silence U.S. companies and censor them. But this is another example. 4chan and Kiwi, two of the U.S. companies that were censored by the UK, are absolutely filing a huge lawsuit against Ofcom. Two of the biggest free speech havens on this internet, 4chan and Kiwi Farms, just sued the UK's media regulator Ofcom in DC federal court, baby, arguing that Britain's Online Safety Act is a blatant attempt to export censorship laws onto U.S. soil. Old North Korea's Starmer thought he could get away with it. Now we haven't won yet. The fight is not over yet. There's even more to this news. It gets even bigger. But this is a huge step forward, boys. This is absolutely a huge step forward. That's what they get. Okay, the complaint says Ofcom threatens fines, prison, and forced ID checks are an attack on the First Amendment itself. It absolutely is. What does freaking Ofcom and Starmer, old North Korea's Starmer, have to do with U.S. companies? What do they think that? Why do they think that they get a say in everything that goes on online? Okay, why do they think that they can literally tell U.S. companies what to do? Okay, but over in Australia, we had this happen, which was where an Australian politician literally came up in favor of the Online Safety Act. They want to implement it over in Australia now. And she said all of these crazy things, these absolutely insane things. And it's so disingenuous. You can tell it's disingenuous, but it had an effect. It had an effect, and I'll show you after. But she is a major advocate against misinformation or disinformation. I don't even think they know the word anymore, right? Like, they don't even know what to make up. They're making up more words to try to, get this thing pushed across. That misinformation and disinformation means that they can censor the rest of the world.
And it's about time that we started putting real pressure on the social media companies to control the mis and disinformation.
There it is, boys. It's about time we start putting our foot down on the social media companies to control the mis and disinformation. Where have we heard that before?
Algorithms pump out. You're not doing anything. That's the problem. In 2012, Facebook said its mission was, listen to this, and I quote, to expand and strengthen relationships between people, end quote. 13 years later, nothing has happened but the opposite. And Facebook, with other social media companies, including YouTube, all they do is fanning division and hatred within our communities.
Oh, my goodness.
Extreme examples of this include the January 6th attack on the Capitol building in Washington in 2021.
Is she going to talk about January 6th? What? That's insane.
Believe Trump's lies that the 2020 election...
They're in Australia. Why is she bringing up Trump? What does Trump have to do with Australia? How big of a TDS problem do you have that you're so crazy that you're a politician or whatever you are are in Australia, you're a senator, and you have to bring up January 6th and Trump just to try to get your point across. Like, you're an Australian senator. Pass laws in Australia and leave the U.S. out of it.
Was rigged, stormed the Capitol building, their own, and seriously wounding American Capitol Police. Since we got social media, we now have more countries in the world run by dictators. Work that one out.
So she wants to increase the authoritarian regime. They're all run by dictators. We're all so oppressed. So let me censor speech online so I can make sure that you're more oppressed. Like, what is the thought process here?
Where people don't get free and fair elections and the civil rights that we enjoy. Social media companies know more about us than our governments do. They design their algorithms with one purpose in mind, to increase us clicking and increase their profits. It's just about money. They don't give a stuff about who we're...
Because we're in capitalism. It's to increase entertainment and engagement. That's what social media companies want, by the way. They want to increase engagement. The longer that you're engaged, the more that you're on the platform, the more fun that you're having, okay? That's all that they care about. They care about, it's literally about increasing engagement. And the reason why they censor things is because governments think some of the things that people engage with are dangerous, and so they want to keep a lid on it, and that's really what's going on. You can say that it's all these companies coinciding, but in reality, government moves slower than anything. So if all of these governments are all of a sudden just pushing online censorship, it's because they've been planning it for a while. Okay, they are absolutely coincided. This is no coincidence, people. There's no coincidence going on here. These people, they have absolutely joined together to try to push this to remove anonymity from the internet for the very specific purpose of censoring your online speech.
We are. If these algorithms can be so targeted, why can't they target mis and disinformation? Instead of the algorithm that sends Australians down these rabbit holes, serving them up more and more conspiracy theories.
Because what you consider disinformation is incredibly dangerous. You want to silence political dissent of your party. That's what's going on. Okay, you don't really care about misinformation. You don't care if somebody says something that's a flat out lie. You care about ideas that directly go against your own. That's what you actually care about. And it's very disingenuous of her to even pretend that it's about just specifically keeping people safe.
That make them more afraid and more paranoid. We still don't have laws in this country.
And that's why, that's why their party was literally saying, like, if you get COVID, you'll die. Yeah, dude, I'm not kidding. In Australia, the news during COVID was absolutely terrifying. You couldn't watch it, okay? And it was literally, by the way, increased fear ruins your immune system's response. So not only did the fear involved with them increasing fear with the media make it worse, but it just shows that they don't care. They don't care if they make you afraid. They care what you vote for as long as it's for them.
That deal with truth and political advertising. You can't lie about a product in Australia, but you can sure as hell lie in political campaigns. How is that leading by example and saying that is acceptable behaviour in Australia today? That is not acceptable behaviour. We need to get onto this. It is really time to put pressure on the social media companies and start talking regulation. What is your fear of social media companies? You lost control of social media when it comes to our kids, and if you think AI is going to be any different in the future because you're already miles behind, you are bloody delusional yourselves. That is the truth of the matter. You must get onto this. You must show some courage. Do you know it got so bad during COVID? I had people in Tasmania telling me that serum going into their arms was forming a microchip. Well, I've had my body x-rayed over time because of my back complaint. There are no microchips running around in my body.
Dude, she looked insane. Are you kidding me? You look literally deranged, lady. You're paying attention. You're a victim of the social media algorithm. You're paying attention to minorities of people that literally just agree with a certain idea. People that literally don't have the IQ to basically discern, truth from reality from fiction. That's what you're paying attention to and what you want to censor the rest of us on. And you're literally a victim of the social media algorithm yourself. I mean, look at this eye roll.
There are no microchips running around in my body.
Dude, she looks like an insane Karen. Are you kidding me?
That is the misinformation, disinformation that is going on in social media.
So you want to Why is she talking about Tasmania, by the way? I don't even know if that's a part of Australia. What does that have to do with Australia? If it is, I apologize. But, like, are you kidding me?
Okay, that is the reality of it, and we need to wake up in here because people are getting harmed because of it.
People are getting harmed, boys. Talk about the most emotionally charged language I've heard yet. Are you kidding me? You're a senator using literally hyper emotionally charged language to get a response. That is what's crazy. But Senator Alex Antic, this is what I was talking about, getting passed in Australia. Senator Alex Antic has successfully passed a motion to expose all communications between the e-safety commissioner, the e-safety commissioner, and big tech lobby groups DIGI and GARM, absolutely demanding transparency on their role in shaping Australia's online safety and censorship policies. This is what I want to see. I want to see what their communications are like between them and their lobbyists. Are they literally doing this because their lobbyists are telling them to? Just replace the word lobby with bribery and it'll make more sense. What are these people paying them to do? Why they're paying them money and they're passing these laws, and the e-safety commissioner is a big advocate for this, at least I believe. And honestly, the comments are super positive with this. Finally, a politician with a spine. It seems like people want to know the truth. Is there something going on? Is all of this being passed for a reason? Are all of these, coincidences between government coinciding just a coincidence, or are they all following these lobbyists from either these companies or from I think it's from the UK directly. I think the UK is literally full on board with this, and not only are they on board, they are spearheading it. But it's good to see the UK Online Safety Act absolutely taking some hits with literally the UK being threatened freaking tariffs, EU being threatened with tariffs for their discriminatory digital rules. And literally, I'm not kidding. This is insane. Trump administration weighs sanctions on officials implementing new tech law. That is what I'm talking about. That's what needs to be done. A lot of people literally wanted this to happen, and I understand why. Because why does the UK get to censor the entire world? It makes no sense. And the fact that they are trying to censor U.S. companies, and they just thought that they could with no backlash whatsoever. Absolutely, this is a great thing that is happening. All right, boys, that's going to be it for me. Make sure you like the video so YouTube counts you as a viewer, so that YouTube will push us in the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content, boys. Paper or plastic, paper being good, plastic being bad, baby. I'm going to go with paper, boys. I think it's paper, boys. I think it's paper as fuck. It's about time the UK's Online Safety Act took a hit, boys. It literally is. They've been getting away with too much for too long. So hopefully these two lawsuits work out, and hopefully Trump's threat of tariffs and sanctions gets the UK to back the fuck off, because they've gotten a little bit too big for their britches. I'll tell you right now. That's going to be it for me, boys. I love all of you. Make sure you stay safe out there, boys. GG's. Peace.